God says, he says, so he came again to Canaan in Galilee, where he had made water and wine. And at Capernaum, there was an official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe. The official said to him, sir, come down, for my child dies. In other words, I hear all that, but I need you to come see about my child. And Jesus said to him, go, your son will live. The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and went on his way. And he was going down, his servants met him and told him that his son was recovering. So he asked them the hour when he began to get better, and they said to him, yesterday at the seventh hour the fever left him. And the father knew that was the hour when Jesus had said to him, your son will live. And he himself believed, and all his household. All y'all got to get on the same page in your house. I'm coming. I'm going to preach that. This was now the second sign that Jesus did when he come from Judea to Galilee. I want to talk with your prayers and God's power from these three words: signed, sealed, and delivered. That's what I want to preach about today. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. Thank you, ushers, for serving this morning. Friends, many of us have heard the classic by the great Stevie Wonder, signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. Oh, you done heard it. Don't sit here. Don't sit here. You done heard it. And the power of that song isn't just in the melody, but it's in the message of the song. Because when something is signed, sealed, and delivered, the process is finished. The decision is already settled. There's no negotiation, no more waiting on approval. It's already been handled and set in motion. It don't sound like hope, it sounds like faith and certainty. And there's a difference, friends, between hoping it will happen and knowing it's already in motion. Because hope says, I wish it works out. But faith says, it's already working out, even when I don't see it yet. Faith don't stutter. Faith don't second guess. Faith don't know, keep going back and forth. It doesn't go back and forth. Faith says if God said it, that settles it. Because when God signs it with his authority, brothers and sisters, and seal it with his word, you don't have to keep checking on it. You don't have to keep worrying about it. You don't have to keep trying to fix it. Even if it hadn't shown up yet, you can live like it's already on the way, because you know if God said it, it's already happening. I don't know who I'm preaching to in this room, but there's somebody in this room today. You've been looking for it. You've been expecting it. And I need to tell you, it's been signed, it's been sealed, and it's been delivered. Anybody got faith this morning to believe that it's on the way for you? This is the kind of faith that is exactly what we see in our text. But before we get to the miracle, we must understand the moment. Because Jesus is heading back to Canaan in Galilee, the same place where he performed his first miracle, where his mother told him, hey, they done ran out of wine. And Jesus goes back and Jesus says to his mother, Mama, my time hadn't come yet. He comes back to that same place, and Jesus is now, this time he comes, he meets a noble man, an official man, and a man just not a noble man, but a man who's desperate. This man's son is at the point of death. He's dying, friends. We don't know the precise nature of this son's illness. All we know, he had a high fever and he was at the point of death. We don't know the son's name. We don't know his age, but there's a hint in the text that says this son is not an adult yet. The mother is not mentioned in this story. We can assume that she shared the same concern that her husband did, and this man pushes his needs beyond his needs, pushes him beyond the normal. In other words, friends, what we see in John chapter 4 is what we all must experience one point at a time in our lives, that desperate needs times calls for desperate measures, friends. That's what we see, and it comes not with certainty, but this man comes with hope, not with proof, but with a plead. And here's the tension in the text, friends, that he wants Jesus to come to him, but Jesus don't go. Here's the question this morning, friends. Hear me today. Can y'all hear me? Is this on? Can you hear me? This is the question today that we have to grab. What happens to your faith when your faith have to be grounded in what you hear and not what you see? What happens when your faith have to be grounded in not what you see, but in what you hear? Because you can trust God enough to move on a word when nothing around you hadn't changed yet. Because sometimes God, friends, won't give you a sign. Sometimes God will give you a sentence. Sometimes God won't give you a sign to give you faith. Sometimes God will give you a word, and that's all you got to stand on is a word. I know what he's saying is not what you see. And sometimes discouragement comes in because we're trying to hold on to what we heard, and in what we heard ain't what we see. And that's when you get discouraged. That's when doubt comes in. That's when you lose your grip of your faith and you start doubting God. I need to tell somebody that if God said it, you can count on it, because God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he have to repent. If God said it, that settles it. Look at somebody and tell them God said it. That settles it this morning. You can go to bed, pull the cover up, get you a good night rest. Don't worry about it. Don't lose your sweat no more. Don't let your blood pressure get up all high because you worried about it. If God said it this morning, you just keep holding on to your word. Anybody here this morning say, I don't see it, but I'm holding on to his word. I'm holding on to what he said, because if his word said it, that counts it. That's it. That's all. Let me put it like this. Period. Look at your name and say, clock that T. You better clock that T. Clock. Here's this text take home truth today. Here goes the text take home truth. That God calls us to build our faith on his word and not on visible evidence. This is what this text is teaching us. That God calls us to build our faith on his word and not visible evidence. Which means what we're supposed to do with this sermon today, here you go, friends, is stop relying on what we see and start walking in what God said. Let me rewind that again. I'm going to say that for you, Reverend Waters. What we have to do, friends, is stop relying on what we see and start walking in what God said. So the question is today, friends, what happens when you take God at his word before you ever see the outcome? What happens when you take God at his word before you see the outcome? Let me show you these truths in the text, and we're going to get out of here today. He says, first of all, the plead was signed. Look at verse 46 through 47. The plead was signed. So he came again to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water into wine. And at the Capernaum, there was an official whose son was ill. And when the man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. Church, the text don't open with a miracle. It opens with a man in a crisis. Jesus returns to Canaan, where there's a nobleman of status, influence, access. He's a part of Herod the Antipas. He is of the official. Let me tell you the truth, friends. This man have access, influence, but none of that matters because his son is dying. And let's tell the truth on ourselves. As long as we have what we need and a few of the things we want, we feel like we're doing just fine. We move through life comfortably, with confidence, and sometimes even careless about God. But let trouble show up, friends. That's when we find ourselves running to Jesus. And that's exactly what we see this man. As long as his life was going well, he wasn't thinking about Jesus. He's connected to the royal house, and his power, his prestige, his position and possessions, when you look from his life from the outside, looking in, his life looked flawless. It looked like he got it all together. But notice, friends, when this situation comes, the king can't fix it. His money can't touch this. His influence can't change it. He has nowhere to turn except to Jesus. Notice what he says. John tells us that this man heard that Jesus had come to Galilee. Watch the movement. Watch the movement in the text. He heard, which look at the movement. Hearing leads to seeking, and seeking leads to supplication. He says, I want you to see about my son. He's at the point of death. Notice, this is not casual interest, church. This is a persistent plea, friends. The verb tense where he says to come see about my son is an ongoing action, which means he just didn't ask Jesus one time. He kept on asking him. And I need to tell somebody, friends, that this is the moment where the plea was signed, not with ink, but with urgency, that he comes to Jesus and says, hey, man, I need you to come and see about my son. And the question is today, friends, have you signed your plead, or are you still trying to handle things your own way? This man, he comes, but notice the text suggests that this man approximately walks 20 miles to Capernaum, to Canaan. This is a journey of not conveniency, but of compulsion, because this desperate man is in motion. And can you imagine the psychological weight that's pressing down on him every step he takes? Every move he makes, there's a psychological weight, Brother Mike, that's on him. He's 20 miles away from the house. He's left his sick son to go to see Jesus. And anything can happen between him leaving the house and him getting to Jesus. There is can you hear the internal dialogue that he's having? Lord, I'm going to preach it today. He's having within himself. Can you hear the dialogue of the conversation he's having with himself? Should I have stayed at home? Am I really making the right decision? What if I return too late? The tension between his hope and fear. Can you hear the battle going on of the burden of the uncertainty accompanying each mile that he's taking, each step he's taking? There is an internal conflict on the inside. But notice what he does. He keeps moving forward in spite of the conversation that he's having in his head. And I need to tell somebody today, you've been having conversations in your own head. You've been trying to talk yourself out of what God said you can have. You've been talking yourself out of what God's word is. And you saying, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right way? Am I doing it the right thing? Am I going the way God wants me to go? Am I making the right decisions? You're really questioning yourself, because sometimes beneath the anxiousness and the anxiety, there is a conviction that ought to be in us that if I can just reach Jesus, I know my situation gonna be better. Yes, I may be walking and it seems like I'm making a walk that may cause me to regret the walk that I'm taking, but if I get to Jesus, and there's somebody today, if you can just get to Jesus, if you can just get him on the line, you know that he'll make your situation better, that he'll fix your, would y'all take the brakes off of me and preach with me this morning? Will you know that God's word says, you know, if I can just get and hold on to his word, I know things are going to get better. When somebody enter a plea, church, when they enter a plea, in a courtroom, it's not a casual conversation. It's a formal declaration. It's serious. It carries weight. When the plea is entered, everything begins to move in a particular direction. The judge listens, the process shifts, and the case is no longer standing still. Something has been set in motion. And here's the thing. Once the plea is entered, friends, you don't keep arguing your case the same way. You have already placed it before the authority of the court. Now, everything that happens next is determined by the one who has the power to make the decision. And when it comes to Jesus, when he comes to Jesus begging, he enters his plea and he's placing his situation before the one who has the authority to handle it. And can I tell somebody this morning that when you finally bring it to Jesus, your situation may not look different yet, but it's no longer standing still, because once the plea is signed, God has already started moving on your behalf. Can I tell you, church, that when the man came to Jesus and said, touch my son, do you know that he had already started working? And somebody, I need to tell you, God is not deaf. God hears real well. And you've been praying about that. When God is saying to somebody today, pray about something different. Give me something else. Quit talking to me about the same thing, because I heard you the first time. Why you keep praying about that same thing over and over? God said, I ain't deaf. I'm already working on it. You just can't see it. You just can't feel it, but I'm already fixing it. I'm already handling it. All you got to do is just trust me in spite of it. Not only was the plea signed, but the promise was sealed. Look at verse 48 through 50. I'm getting through this. I'm wrapping this up. As the narrative unfolds, the tension deepens in the text, because there was a need and a change, but notice how Jesus responds. There's where your frustration come in at. Because he comes with a plea. Jesus come in like he is compassionless, like he don't have no compassion. Look what Jesus says to this man in verse 48. He says, unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe. Now, when you look at this in the first and you glimpse at this, it seems like Jesus is talking to this man, but it's a plural you. He says, he's talking to the crowd. He's talking to the crowd, which means that he's not directly talking to this nobleman. He's talking to the Galilean audience at large, and they have developed a sign-dependent faith, a faith that's only sustained on spectrum and not substance. Jesus he's exposing a deeper issue. That do you believe because of what I do or because of who I am? Friends, can I press this a little farther? Because if your faith is built on visible results, then it is vulnerable to visible setbacks. And that's what I call, like many of you may have in this room, you got sunshine faith. Yeah, your faith thrives when the skies is clear. The storm has disappeared. But real faith is not contingent on how the sun is shining. But real faith, friends, is anchored in the character of Christ. So the question becomes then today, friends, can you trust God when the clouds gather? Can you trust him when the doctor's report is not what you prayed for? Can you really? I know you want to be super saved and super deep today, but can you really trust God when the bills outweigh the paycheck? When your child is struggling and your marriage is strained, and your circle is shifting, and your workplace feel unstable, and you feel like a misfit in your work environment, can you really trust him then? Can you really trust him? Can you really trust him? Because not. Now watch the Father. Instead of him becoming offended, Notice what he says. Notice what it says. Notice how he responds. He said, Lord, I hear it. But come down because my son is sick. Do you see that? He don't take offense to it because he knows the need that he stands in need of. Church, he's not distracted by the crowd. He don't allow the challenge to deter his focus. And here where the promise is sealed, friends, Jesus says in verse 50, go, your son will live. Okay. Church, this is not a touch. It's not a journey. It's just a word. Because notice the text records a pivotal shift. The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him, and notice he went his way. Notice he didn't go back and forth with him. He didn't, Jesus, I asked you to come to the house. All Jesus says, go, your son will live, and the man went his way. Church, the promise is not confirmed by sight, it's secured by the word of God. Because when God speaks, the promise is already sealed. It's not your responsibility to try to figure it out. I know you don't want to hear that today. It's not your responsibility to try to figure it out. It's not your responsibility, but it's your responsibility to believe it and walk it out. All I'm trying to tell you, friends, this is what you got to do. You got to learn how to put feet up under your faith. Okay. What are you saying to me, Pastor? Quit telling God you believe, but you standing still. God is saying to you, if you believe me, walk it out. Show me that you believe me. You got to put some feet up under your faith. You've been praying about it. You've been talking about it. And God is saying, if you believe me, like you say you believe me, put some feet up under your faith. Why you scared? He said, put your money where your mouth is. If you trust me, walk your faith out like you believe me. Church, Church, we spend too much time trying to calculate what God has already confirmed. We try to reason through it and map it out and make it make sense. It's not going to make sense to you. It's not going to make sense to you. Quit trying to, because God never asked you to understand it. God never asked you to try to understand his ways, because his ways are not your ways, and his thoughts are not. Why you stand up trying to calculate it and worried about it? Okay, since y'all want to be deep, I'm coming. You got your Stella Rose, you got your, come on, you trying to get your wine and sip and trying to figure it out. How you going to do it? How am I going to do this? Come on, y'all want to be deep on me. You got to get you a blunt to smoke. Come on, you want to get your blunt. I got to think my way through this thing. And God has already, come on, you've been talking to everybody else trying to get their opinion and they thought about it, when God is saying it ain't meant for you to understand how I'm going to do it. It ain't meant for you to understand how I'm going to make the way. It's not, all you got to do is just trust me. You've been worrying about it. You've been, now we see you done change your hair. You done put a wig on because your hair falling out because you stressing yourself out. Come on, no, quit worrying about it. Just trust God. Look at somebody and tell them, just trust God. Just trust God this morning. Because if God said your child will be saved, you don't have to wait to see it. You just start praising God because you know it's already done. If God said he will provide, you don't have to panic when the numbers don't add up. You just keep walking like it's already provision made. If God said he gonna heal your body, you don't let fear dominate your mind. You stand on his word like his word has already been settled. And guess what, church? When I trust his word, guess what I do? I don't wait till the ballot is over. I go ahead and shout now. Is there anybody here who can give him praise? No, it don't look like it, but I'm going ahead and shout and give him praise now, because guess what? His credit is good with me. He ain't never been bankrupt with me. Lord help me. He keeps his promises. Look at somebody and tell him, God keeps his promises. I'm going to hold on to his word. It's signed. It's sealed. It's delivered. If God said it, it's done. When you got real faith, you don't look for answers. You don't ask a lot of questions. You don't look for explanations. You trust his word and keep going with it. Friends, I'm closing. But then, lastly, church, not only was the plead signed, was the promise sealed, but lastly, church, the power was delivered. Look at the text. Look at it. Look how the power was delivered. In verse 50 through 54. My time is up, y'all. I got to get out of here. The Bible says that Jesus said to him, "Go, your son will live." And the man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and went his way. And as he was going down, his servants met him, told him that his son was recovering. So he answered them the hour when he had begun to get better. And they said to him, "Yesterday at the 7th hour, the fever left." The father knew that was the hour when Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." And he himself now believed, and all the household. Friends, notice that Jesus granted this father's request not the way he wanted, not the way he expected. The man asked Jesus to come to the house, but he didn't have physical presence, but all he had was a word. And that raises a real question for us today, friends. What do you do when God answers your request, but not the way you wanted him to do it? Can I just press it a little farther? Your prayer is answered. It may not just be the answer you've been praying for. Okay, did you get that, what I just said? Yeah. Are you getting what I'm throwing out there at y'all? Your prayers may have been answered. You've been praying, "God, move me off the job," but God been keeping you on the job. You've been praying, "God, move the sickness," but God been allowing you to live with it. You've been praying for it to be moved when just like Paul did, he says, "Lord, remove this thorn from my flesh." But he says, "I ain't going to move it. My grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in your weakness." Because many times we just don't want God to move, but many times, friends, we want God to move the way we want him to move. We want God to come with us, to show us, to let us see him unfolded, but God does not always operate according to your expectations. He operates according to his authority. But don't miss the weight of the moment in this text, because when Jesus says your son live, it was not simply predicting a miracle, he was already performing it. The healing does not happen later. It's a completed action. When he declared it and spoke it out of his mouth before the Father left, it was already done. Why do you say that, Pastor? Because, Mother, when you read the text, the servants met him on his way back to the house. When they met him back to the house, friends, the Bible says that he asked them, they told him, "Hey, your son is no longer sick, he's recovering." And he says, "Hold on, when did it really take place?" They said it happened around the 7th hour, which is our time, 1 p.m. It happened around 1 p.m., exactly the moment when Jesus spoke. And what that means, that there was no delay. When Jesus said it, that's when it happened. The word and the work happened simultaneously. But here's the beauty of it, church. I'm gone. The miracle just didn't change the boy. It transformed the whole household. I need to tell somebody that y'all got to get on one accord in your house. Pastor, don't tell me what to do in my house. That's my house. No, I want your house to be blessed. Because y'all can't be praying two separate things. He said, if 2 or 3 touch together in one accord. We got to come together on a thing. We can't, Lord help me. I can't be praying for Lord for a mansion and my wife praying for an apartment. Come on. We got to be on one accord. We got to be walking together. The Bible said how two can walk together except they what? Agree. And you got to come in agreement with who in your house, that our house is blessed. My house is going to be whole. My house will be healed. See, that's the problem, that we ain't on one accord. You going this way and they going this way. We got to be in one way. And I'm like Joshua, for me and my house. I can't speak for your house, but for me and my house, we going to trust God. We going to serve God. We going to have faith in God. We going to believe God that whatever we ask of him, he will do it. Y'all got to be on one accord. And can I tell you, that's one of the most discouraging things, when you're praying for one thing and people in your house praying for a totally different thing. It's frustrating. And the miracle happened, and it had to happen not only for the father's faith, but the mother's faith as well. I want to tell you, friends, that's why God got to put you in a position. Y'all hear me? Quit playing and hear me. God got you in the place where you are so he could reveal himself through you, so people around you can believe in him. That's why God has allowed you to go through, because there are some family members that you've been trying to pray for and reach, and God has put you through certain situations to put you on display. You're like that icon on that screen on that computer. Every time your life is like that icon. When they hit it, it comes open. And people see your life. They see what you're dealing with. They see what you're going through. They see what's happening. And God pulls you through time after time. And God allowed this boy to be healed so the whole house can be transformed and people could believe in who God was. What I'm trying to say to you, friends, I got to go. What feels like a private struggle is often a part of your public testimony. What you're crying about in secret, God is preparing to use it as a witness openly to somebody. Because God, hear this, friends, I'm gone. God never wastes pain. He repurposes it for his glory. God never wastes pain. He never wastes the hurt that you're going through. He never wastes the trouble you're dealing with. He never wastes it. He always repurposes it that he can get glory out of it. I'm done today, church. I'm done. I'm about to tell y'all something that's going to tell you, that make you feel like I'm old. But church, I want to illustrate it and see if I can get it over to you. Sister Taylor, I ordered some checks not too long ago. And I know I'm young, but I like to write checks for certain stuff. I know some of y'all just technology. I just like to write checks for certain stuff, And I found myself trying to save some money, Sister Tracy. So I didn't get the trackable shipping. I found myself trying to save $1. And instead of paying for the shipping or the expedited shipping, I chose the regular option. Save a few dollars. But now here's what got interesting, friends. A few weeks went by, and I hadn't got what I paid for. I'm coming to get you, church. I'm gone. I hadn't got it, but how I knew that it was on the way, because, church, I looked in my account and the money was gone out of my account. The money is gone, but what I paid for I hadn't received. Church, I'm feeling frustrated because I got to go to the ATM to get cash out to pay certain stuff. Thank you, nephew. They ain't helping me preach today. I got to go to the ATM, pay for certain stuff. I got to go in my savings and my stash and and handle some business because I'm waiting on these checks. But friends, I went to the mailbox, but here's the part. I didn't see it yet, but I knew it was coming. Every day I checked the mailbox, not because I doubted, but because I had expectations. I checked the mailbox not because I doubted that they were coming, but I checked the mailbox because I knew they were on the way. And I came to tell somebody today, you may not be able to track it. You may not be able to see it where it is right now. You may not know when it's going to show up, but if God already took the payment out your account, if he's already spoke the word, it's already on the way. Did you hear what I said this morning? The money already been taken out. No, you may not be able to track it. No, you may not be able to find it. But guess what? It's on the way. I just look at somebody and tell them it's on the way this morning. It's on the way. No, I don't know when it's going to show up. No, I don't know how he's going to do it. No, I don't know, but it's on the way. And today, friends, you got to learn how to stand on the promises of God. Christ my King through eternal ages. Let his praises ring, glory to the highest. I will shout and sing. I'm standing on the promises of God. And is there anybody here this morning who's standing on the promises of Lord? Standing on the promises of God. And it's still so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to take him, just to rest upon his promises, just to know what said the Lord. Jesus, yeah, Lord, how I trust him, how I prove him over and over. Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace, yeah, Lord, to trust him more. Is there anybody here who can give God praise? For you know it's been signed, it's been sealed, and it's already been delivered, that my healing is on the way, my breakthrough is on the way. Anybody here today know it's on the way? And if you know it's on the way, you ought to stand on it, you ought to speak it, you ought to walk it, you ought to rest in it, you ought to hold on to it. I'm holding on to his word, for heaven and earth shall pass away, but his word, Lord, will stand forever. Because if God said it, that settles it, church. It's already delivered. Would you lean over and shake somebody's hand and say, neighbor, it's already done. It's already. So be not dismayed. Whatever betide you, God will. God will, won't he take care of you, church? Can you give him praise like you already got it? Can you give him glory like it's already here? I was young, but now I'm old, and I never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. It's already done. If God said it, I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to hold on to it. Come what may. Come what may. I'm going to stand on it. I got his word down in my heart. Come what may. I'm going to stand on it. I got his word. Would you shout today? It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. That weeping may endure for a night, but joy, joy, gonna come in the morning, would you get out your seat and go shake 3 people's hand and tell them it's already done? Encourage somebody. Tell them it's already done. Yeah, already. It's already done. It's already done. He's already healed you. He's already delivered you. Your child is already saved. You already got the scholarships. You already got the loan. You already got it. You already got the job. You already got it. You already got it. Yes, I got it. Yes, I got it. Do I got anybody here to say I don't have to see it, but I believe it? I believe God. I believe God. I believe God. And if you believe him, say it. Say it. I believe him. I believe him. You can't make me doubt him. I know too much about him. I believe him. He's seen me through so many times before. He made so many ways before. I'm gonna trust him. Yes, I am. Yes.